So do atheists believe the death of humanity would be morally wrong? This was so Daniel and I said, quote, you acknowledge that it doesn't ultimately matter whether humans survive. Robin Dude 8187 said, what does it mean for something to matter? What does it mean? What does it mean for something to ultimately matter? Something mattering is a subjective judgment call.
There you go.
We care if humans survive or not, so it matters to us.
But not ultimately.
Which is all the mattering that needs to happen. How arrogant do you have to be to even want your existence to matter to the entire universe?
So like Durbin said, the debate's over. You just said something mattering is a subjective judgment call. So if it doesn't matter to the pedophile that the child is horrifically traumatized by him, then it's a subjective judgment call. You have no ultimate argument with him.
Yeah.
That argument's over. Robin, dude.
Yeah. And as to us being arrogant, is it possible that for your life to have ultimate meaning, is it possible that it's not actually arrogant, but it's ingrained in you to want to have ultimate meaning, to be able to know that you have lived a good life? I would argue that everyone at the bottom of their heart knows that there's a God and knows that they want to have ultimate meaning and they want to feel good about what they've done in this life. But according to your standard, a pedophile would die thinking that they were a good person because all morality is subjective, and atheists have no ultimate problem with pedophilia.
Yeah, understand our argument. Romans 1 says that you know the truth, but you suppress the truth on unrighteousness, as Andrew and I once did because of our own sin and because we were rebels against God. You know the truth. That's our worldview. Our worldview says that you are in the image of God, and that you know certain things are immoral, and you appeal to those certain standards because in your essence, you know that it exists. You can't escape it because you live in his world. You suppress the truth because you don't want to honor him as Lord.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next one. Is it possible for us to know that objective morality is true? So we said, quote, we are able to logically justify our truth claims because of the presence of an objective source for those claims, God. Robin Dude 8187 said, you can't logically justify logic any more than you can measure the measurement device you are using. Logic is how we justify. There's no way to ensure it's right.
I don't even necessarily understand the question. You can't logically justify logic.
I think it's getting back to saying that logic.
I think what he's saying is you can't. He's saying you can't appeal. You can't justify a standard by appealing to that standard to justify itself. You can't logically justify logic any more than you can measure the measurement device you are using. Logic is how we justify. There's no way to ensure it's right. On atheism, no, there's not.
Yes, with atheism, there's no way to ensure it's right.
But we have a revelational epistemology, meaning epistemology, all it means is how do you know? The way we know things is because God has revealed it to us. And our proof of that is not something we can just hand you on a science dish. Our proof of that is without God, you have no ultimate justification to prove anything because you can't appeal. When you said logic is how we justify, there's no way to ensure it's right. Meanwhile, Robin, you're appealing to logic to write out your entire sentence. You're appealing to an objective standard of logic while saying that we can't know that it's right. So how can you know anything?
Yeah. There's two possibilities in the universe. Either people like to say objective morality can't be true. That is a stupid statement. Objective morality could be true. And there's two possibilities for the universe. Either objective morality is true and we can say that things are wrong, logic exists, objective morality exists, or nothing has any meaning.
And it's all material. That's the biggest thing. We talked about this.
And why are you arguing about this, dude? Why do you obviously you've left paragraphs and paragraphs of copy? Why do you care so much about arguing about something that doesn't exist? What I would argue that at the bottom of your heart, you know that it's true. And you know that there's good and evil. And you know that God exists. And you know that objective morality exists because
you're made in his image.
Because you're made in God's image. And because without objective morality and without God, nothing means anything. And yet, why are you on YouTube right now commenting if nothing means anything?
And the good news is, man, these aren't just objective, stale sources that we're appealing to. This is a personal being, and you can do the same thing, Robin. That's the good news, is that you can do the same thing. You can have a Lord that is responsible for all these things you're appealing to right now. So I would just call you to repent and put your faith in Jesus.